The chickens and ducks that I have in this chicken tractor are really doing a good job of mowing down the grass for me. Chickens are good grazers, but ducks are even better. Chickens are really good at scratching and tilling up dirt for you and moving mulch and things like that around. They're really excellent at that. But ducks will just mow something down, and together they really make a good team of just really kind of pretty much decimating an area if you let them. And right now I am letting them because I am prepping this area, just kind of getting rid of a lot of the grass that's there. There's not a lot, but they're really going ahead of me as forerunners and clearing out so I can start planting some plants in there fairly soon. So my co-workers are doing a great job. Today it's forecasted to be a windy day, and I don't know what it is about the wind. It creates a type of anxiety and stress in me that I have to work through it on some days. I don't know where that came from. I don't think that I've always had it. I guess some of it I think is having the history of our greenhouses and caterpillar tunnels being messed up by heavy winds. But it's something I have to work through. It's like a fear, phobia. It's a small one, but I do have it. Fear is something that we don't necessarily like to talk about, but we all have fears. Some smaller than others, some greater and a little more serious than others. This right here is lemon balm, and there's a lot of good health benefits to consuming it. I usually like to make mine in a tea, and one of the benefits is it helps with anxiety and stress. Alright, so I got my tea here. I'm dealing with a little bit of anxiety today, so just have to work through it.
Well, lemon balm tea is good for that, but there's a number of other things that you could do. You could use a homeopathic remedy. Aconite is really good for anxiety, or also ignatia. So those two are really good.
I forgot about homeopathy, and I've actually had really good results with homeopathy. And one of the ones that I was being treated for was I had these white spots all over my skin. And some of our longtime viewers, you may remember, you go back to some of our videos, I had spots on my neck. I've also had it on my arms. And I got put on a homeopathic protocol by my homeopath, and it all just went away. And I was just like, wow. I've been dealing with that for years. It's just like, I didn't think it would just go away with taking the remedies, and it's pretty amazing. We also saw a really neat documentary here lately on homeopathy called Magic Pills, and it's on Amazon, and we'll leave that link in the show notes below. It provides a lot of good information.
Where you can decide for yourself if the results are there, because it gives a very balanced view. It has a skeptic, it has people that are working in Africa and other countries with homeopathy, with different kinds of patients, but it really provides the information for you to make your own informed decision.
And with anything, I try to approach things, any type of methods, whatever, with an open mind. I encourage you all to do the same. But one of the things that I say is you can't argue with results.
That's right.
Whatever backing or whatever lack of backing that something has, you can't argue with the results. And my skin, I can't argue with the results that I received. Alrighty, I feel a lot better than I did. Drank some of my tea, and we also did Wim Hof breathing together as a family. And I really do feel like a little bit of a recharge for sure.
Yeah.
Don't feel as stressed and as tight as I did before. But do have a work cut out for us. And for those of you, if you didn't see the last video, I went over a little bit more about the Wim Hof breathing technique. And you can also check out his app, his free app, and we'll leave that info in the show notes below. But one of the fears, anxieties that I have, another one I'll share with you, I'm just kind of sharing a little personal stuff with you guys today, is when I feel like I'm overwhelmed with things to do, it just really gets to me. I start just really feeling it. And that's another thing that is on my mind today. We have a lot of things that we need to transplant, a lot of things that we're behind on here on the homestead. So I'm feeling it. But let me know in the comment section below, what are some of the fears, the anxieties that you have right now? I know a lot of people around the world are fearful right now. They're stressed out and we have anxiety. So share some of those with me. So what plants do you want to transplant first? We'll start with you.
Well, I have some stuff out that reseeded from last year that we kind of need to transplant to somewhere else. But some other ones that I would like to get are, I have my blue spice basil. I grew this last year. It is fantastic in teas. It's great to put in a fruit salad, things like that. And it smells wonderful. If you just want something that you can walk by and smell, that is what I would plant for sure.
Okay, so you got the basil. What else you got that you want to transplant?
Sage and roselle, and I want to try these are pepino melon. I want to put some more of those out. But I have calendula, and I have purple plantain, and a bunch of stuff.
I know, right?
Oh, and nasturtiums. I have a whole tray of nasturtiums that need to go out.
Let's go ahead and let's start with the calendula and the nasturtiums, and we also have some watermelon that need to be transplanted right away. Yeah. So let's start with those first. How's that sound to you?
That sounds good. Let's get going.
Alright, so we're going to plant the nasturtiums, the calendula, and the dahlias in this front raised bed here that we have right in front of our house and our greenhouse. And we're really looking to add more flowers around here. We need more for the bees, as well as making an attractive area as we just roll right on up in front of our house and just boom, it just pops out. So what plan did you have for the nasturtiums here?
Well, I actually thought about planting some. We have a whole tray. So I thought about planting some down here in front of the daffodils because they're done for the year and they're not going to be back until next spring. And nasturtiums are annuals, so we can just stick these in here and add more color down here.
I think that would be super neat to have just a continuous color throughout the year, just working towards that. Because it looked really neat in here when we had the daffodils and the tulips just popping and just singing to us as we came. Now that's gone, so we need a new song.
A new flower song.
So we'll go ahead and plant the daffodils. Oh, not the daffodils. Still thinking about the daffodils. We'll plant the nasturtiums here. There's the wind flaring up again. Just gotta breathe. Doesn't bother me every time the wind comes through, but we've had a few bad storms here recently too, so all that just keeps going on my mind. But one of the things that I do have learned to be helpful to me when I feel just overwhelmed with all the different things that I have to do is just first, just do what I can, do whatever I can that day. And then at the end of the day, if I can say, hey, I did everything that I can do, then I need to be fine with that. So that's one of the things that I work through in my mind to help me to handle when my plate is just full with so much stuff. What about you? What are some of the fears and things that you have to deal with? And how do you get through it?
I don't know about fears that I really think about.
Anxieties.
Things that make me anxious are not getting everything accomplished we need to get to, or being in a rush, or just the normal mom stuff. Am I raising my children right? Am I doing a good enough job? Those are normally the things that are at the forefront of my mind that make me get a little panicky.
I notice for you, especially when you feel like you have deadlines and you're like having to be in a rush, I notice that's one of your triggers as well.
Yeah, I don't like to be rushed for things.
No, you just kind of like to go at your own pace.
I'm easy going.
So what do you do to handle some of those things though?
Well, you know, I was on homeopathic protocol for a while for Ignatia, and that really helped me to get some things under control as far as, you know, not being so snappy at y'all. And I think you've probably noticed a difference too in me. And
yeah, I haven't seen the T-Rex come out like rah!
You know, but just doing that. And also Flower, our friend Flower, has a wonderful anti-stress tincture that I love to use in a combination with some aromatherapy stuff. She also makes these stress relief roll-ons, and that just shows you the power of plants. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about herbs and natural medicine, is because God has put so much here for us, and just taking in, you know, what He has created for us and being able to internalize that, not only physically but mentally as well. It just makes me feel so much better.
All right, so we're making some good progress here with the nasturtiums.
Yeah, every open spot I'm sticking a nasturtium, since I had a whole tray of these suckers, and I got all different kinds. So this should be a sea of nasturtiums.
That'd be
summer.
nice. I'm one of those guys that I really like flowers. And that's another thing that helps your senses. Just getting outside and seeing beautiful things and getting vitamin D. That really helps our mind and our bodies all around.
And smells too, the flowers.
Yep.
It's proven that it can relax you, so the smell of flowers. So that's another reason to grow them.
That is right. All right, so you have some borage for us that you just dug up for us to plant. We currently have strawberries in here. And we need to fill up this bed more, but I also said I want it to look good too. So we're going to put borage, which is a companion plant for strawberries, and we're going to put the calendula in here as well, and I want to put sunflowers like I mentioned in the back.
So here is our borage. This is reseeded from last year. Borage is great for pollinators. It produces lots of flowers that are edible, and the leaves are edible too, and they have a cucumber taste. And mine last year got pretty big. So I think we want to put it back here in the back corner so it doesn't block out the sunlight for the other plants.
All right, so let's put borage on each of the corners so that way it'll be symmetrical, because I like symmetry. And in between, we'll do the sunflower. All right, next we're going to plant calendula. And what we're thinking is just to have like a, I don't know, a cascade, is that what you call it? As start with some plants that are a little bit shorter and then just kind of gradually increase to higher. So thinking like with the calendula here, and then have a little mini walkway in the middle there, and then having basil behind it, which should be taller than the calendula, and then the sunflowers just overtowering them at the back. That sound good to you?
That sounds good. Packing it kind of tight over here, aren't you?
I am. For me, I found what is best for me is some things you can be a little more meticulous on than others, but on stuff like this, since we have so much right now, basil, I'm just putting it in, and then we can thin it out later, or actually see what survives the transplanting process and go from there. So things like sowing carrot seed though, you need to be meticulous on that, because I don't want to come back and thin something like those. That is a pain. But if you could get some sunflower seeds while I'm doing that, this is great.
Okay, we have all of our sunflowers, right?
Yep.
And I think the ones that we want to plant first against this back row are
The
these.
tallest?
Yeah, exactly, the tallest ones. So they'll be these. They're going to be 10 feet tall.
Wow, that's big.
Yes, it is. Okay, Selah, I want you to go ahead and plant some of these sunflower seeds.
Yes, ma'am. I'd love to. Hey, Mama, look. This one shines like a purple color.
That is pretty cool. Let's go ahead and get them in the ground.
Okay. Here.
Okay, no, not that close.
This.
Maybe like in a line right here.
You draw the line, I do the planting.
Let's just cover it just slightly. Do both rows. Yep, they don't need to be buried, but you want them covered with a little bit of soil.
So they're just going to be able to grow easy?
Yep, and nothing comes by and eats them.
All right, so we got accomplished most of the things that I wanted to do today, except for one thing. So that's just gonna have to wait for another day. But I feel good knowing that I put in 100% today. So that can make me feel good about what we accomplished. But one of the things, the fears that I have in not getting the things done that I want to get done is because we lived a couple years ago where things were just really tight and we were barely making it. And I always keep that in the back of my mind. We always had food on the table, but it was just like we were struggling financially. And I always have that in my mind that I never want to go back to that. So that always gives me that extra push to do more, to make sure I have done everything in my power to keep us from going back to that.
Yeah.
So it's something
that wasn't fun. That was not a fun place
So-
for us to be.
That's one of the fears and things that I constantly think about. But I know that I put in good effort today. We did. And I know that we're not going to go hungry ultimately. But
No.
that's something I keep in mind. And even in bigger picture now, thinking about everything that's going on with the crisis that's going on all around the world, I think about that for other people. I hope that people don't start starving with food that's been wasted and people not being able to work. I fear that people won't have food to eat, and that's why we've been encouraging you all to grow more food, and we're encouraging ourselves to grow more as well. Because you never know, I'm not trying to be negative or anything, but there might be a day where there's not food on the grocery store, so we need to do what we need to do to grow more. And that's something we strive to do.
Yeah, and you know, hunger affects or can affect everyone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter your political, party, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you don't have food, everybody needs food, and it doesn't matter. Oh.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. It just, I mean, I guess I care so much about it. I don't want people to go hungry, and I just care a lot. I don't want to see anybody go without food.
No, we don't. We don't. And I got blasted on Instagram a couple days ago for supporting a particular party, and I have never endorsed anybody on any of our videos. I try my hardest not to do that. However, I do respect and honor whoever is in office,
Yes.
whether I agree with them and their personality or their decisions or not. There's a lot that I disagree with. But another fear that I have is us losing liberties and freedoms as people with all this. And that's something I think about as well. And I know we can do what we need to do, and we can be informed, and we try to share things with you all in various ways, so that way you're informed, and you should try to be informed, but shouldn't let it consume you.
Yeah.
And once again, just get back, and I have to remind myself too, just get back to doing what you can do in your own life.
And if that is growing one tomato plant on your balcony, or herbs, or microgreens, or whatever, you can at least say that you are contributing in some way. And, you know, that says a lot more than people that want to sit around and complain and they're not doing anything.
And I hope and pray, and please join me in this, that we always have the liberty to be able to grow our own food. I think that's a basic right that every single human being should have. And I also feel that there should not be any law saying you have to eat this or you have to take that medication. I believe that we should have basic freedoms to do what we want to do and grow food and be healthy. Yes, I believe in eating healthy. However, I don't feel like there should be a law saying you have to eat this food or you can't eat that
No more
food.
Skittles ever.
We also need freedom of choice as well. I think that is very important. And sometimes things are just bigger than us. We can do what we need to do on our part, but some things are bigger than us, and we need to have, we need to be able to look up to something bigger than us.
Yeah.
And we're people of faith, and we know that we need to do our part, but we know that there's some things that we just can't handle. And overall, living a life in fear is no way to live. Living in constant fear is just torture. So try not to live your life in fear, and we're working on that as well, because all of us as human beings, we just have various fears and anxieties and worries and things that we have to individually work on to overcome.
Exactly.
But do what you can. Also laugh. Laughing is really good. And smile and meditate on those things that are good in your life.
Maybe we need to do another cooking video.
Maybe another cooking video will make people laugh. People need to laugh more.
Yeah. Maybe you can laugh at us.
So let us know in the comment section below. Share, as I said earlier, share with us some of your fears and what you're doing to overcome those fears.
Yeah.